happy to welcome Lieutenant Shaw.
Thank you. Does that take my 5 minutes up?
The clock starts now.
Okay. Thank you very much for allowing me to come and represent the police department as kind of what, not just myself as my passion for youth, but also to represent the police department here, because the police are a part of the community. And I think sometimes when it comes to working with the public or working with youth, all of a sudden, you'll be in the store and dressed in your uniform, and you'll hear a parent say, if you don't listen to me, that police officer is going to come and arrest you. and we can laugh about it and think about it. It's like, man, that's not what we want. We want you to think about a police officer. We want that student, that youth, that peer in the community to see that officer as a resource, as somebody that they can come to in need when they're in crisis, when they have a question, when they need help with whatever it might be. And so a part of being a part of the community for the police department is our school resource officer program. And we have 5 officers in our community with our department that are in our schools. The 2 high schools, the 3 middle schools, but those 3 middle school officers also cover the 9 elementaries in the area as well. And they don't just go in and wear their uniform and walk the hallways and do patrol and work to prevent crime. They're in there, they're educating, they're working with the kids, they're networking with the school districts, they're networking with community agencies to help students succeed and to be the best that they can be in that school. And so a lot of the times, like I told, August was when I was promoted to sergeant and left Lincoln Middle, and that was a really hard move for me because I had formed so many connections and so many partnerships and friendships and worked with those kids for so many years that was probably one of the hardest moves I had to make. Because you work with kids and going to that school every day to wear that uniform, it wasn't about being a police officer, it was about being a leader to those kids and working with those kids and helping them to succeed. And so those officers in the school are working with those kids to help them with whatever problem it might be, and hopefully they form that relationship and they build that strong connection with those students so they can come to that officer and say, I'm having a crisis, I'm in trouble here, can you help me? And they can direct them to where they need to go, or maybe they just need to talk, and that officer is there to do that. But one of the things that the police department has done on top of having officers in the schools is the networking and that collaboration piece with the school district, with juvenile justice. I was really happy when I had talked to Jo about who was on the panel, and I said, do you have anybody from juvenile justice? And she had said, yes, I've got somebody. I'm like, great, because we have that partnership with juvenile justice. We have that partnership with the school district, with the YMCA, with the Boys and Girls Club, to work to network for kids in all areas, not just crime and prevention of that. And so those officers that are in the school through the school year work with kids, work with the community, but then in the summertime they work with the summer programming, so that network and that building of that relationship goes all year long. It's not just 9 months. Those officers get to know those kids and those families, and we work with the Boys and Girls Club's play program, we work with Camp Send a Kid. We go in and we help those kids whenever they need it 12 months out of the year. And so you've got the school officers working with juveniles and the mental illness if needed, as well as our officers on patrol. The majority of our officers are CIT trained for crisis intervention, working with the community and being able to recognize mental illness and how we approach that. And I think a lot of the times you see that officer coming and, oh, they're going to take somebody out in handcuffs, they're going to arrest them. And we try to train our officers in having compassion and working with the mental illness in the community, because that's a huge piece. They're in crisis at that moment, and we need to help them, and we need to help them solve that problem. So our officers, actually this week, we have another group of officers going through CIT training. All of our officers are, like Randy had said, QPR, question, persuade, and refer. All of our officers are trained in QPR. And one of the big things that I see with that, and we've been working with the school district last year, we went in and actually invited anybody in the school district staff to come in, and we did a presentation on QPR, certified several staff members in the district, and worked with them on juvenile suicide. Because if you had to go, and not so much, like an officer can go up, and we're trained to go up and say, are you thinking of harming yourself, or are you thinking of killing yourself? But can you ask somebody that's sitting next to you, can you go home and ask your 7-year-olds or your 8-year-olds, are you thinking about killing yourself tonight? How hard is that? Can you go to your spouse and ask them, or your significant other? Are you thinking about harming yourself, and how do you do that? That's a really hard thing to do. And we need to be asking that question, whether it be a direct or an indirect question. And so the police department is trying to take that stance that it's okay to ask that question, because we need to be that leader in that. We need to help people get the help that they need, and be that safety net and that network for them. So the building of the partnerships is a huge thing with the police department, and being a part of this community and mental illness is huge, because we are a community, and as a community we need to support everybody. So I just appreciate that you included myself to represent the police department to come on such an important topic tonight. So thank you.